Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Appamattā sate manto susīlā hota bhikkhavo susamāhita saṅkappo sacitta manurakkata yo imasmeň dhamma vinaye appamatto vihassati pahāya jāti sansāraṃ dukkhasantaṃ karissati. Venerable monks, dear friends in the Dhamma, today is the full moon day of March. This is a special full moon day. For this Dhamma talk, our topic is 5 short admonitions of the Buddha. 5 short admonitions of the Buddha, advices of the Buddha. Before we come to the topic, since this is my last day here at this temple in Athens, I want to take this opportunity to pay my gratitude and extend my thanks to each and every one of you. First of all, I want to pay my respect, my gratitude to Venerable Eluapula Nayaka Mahathera for giving me this opportunity to stay here for 1 month. And at the same time, I want to thank our Malli, Kihan Sajiva Nanayakar, who took care of me very well. He who supported me in different manners, preparing my dana at the proper time, and supported me in many different ways, even taking me for my walks, everyday walk. So I thank him. At the same time, I want to thank you all, each and every one of you, the members of this Buddhist vihara, Athens Buddhist vihara, led by the president, Mr. Nimal. So I sincerely thank every one of you for supporting me, providing me the 4 requisites. Now let's come to understand the significance of the day. It is necessary to understand the significance of the day. This is the day, the full moon day, that the Buddha visited for the first time after his attainment of enlightenment. He visited his relatives. He visited his native place. He attained full enlightenment and lived at the place called Rajagaha. While the Buddha was delivering discourses and while he was dwelling at Rajagaha, his father Suddhodana came to know that the Buddha was Buddha became Buddha and now delivering discourses and staying at the place called Rajagaha. So he wanted to see him. He sent 1,000 ministers led by a chief minister to invite the Buddha to come to his place, to his native place. But the people, all the ministers led by the chief minister, 1,001, they all became the disciples of the Buddha. They attained enlightenment. Thereafter, the king had to send another group, another batch of 1,000. Second time, that 1,001, they themselves became disciples of the Buddha. In this manner, the king sent 10 times, 10,010 people to invite the Buddha to come to his relatives, his native place. Finally, when the monks were 20,000, all of them were arahants, the enlightened ones. 20,000 enlightened ones. The Buddha decided to visit his parents and relatives at Kapilavattu. So the Buddha started this historical visit, historical journey, a day like this, the full moon day of March. That is the significance. On this, during this visit, when the Buddha went to see his father, Suddhodana, King Suddhodana came to respect the Buddha. And when he respected the Buddha, Buddha said, rise, uttitte, rise, nappamajjaya, don't be heedless, nappamajjaya, dhammang sucharitang chare, engage in the Dhamma, dhammachari sukham seti asmin loke paramhicha. The one who is engaged in the Dhamma lives happily here and hereafter. That is the discourse the Buddha gave to his father on that occasion. Listening to this advice, he became a stream enterer. Suddhodana, the king, became a stream enterer. Thereafter, he invited the Buddha and the monks to the palace. They all went to the palace, and in the palace, the Buddha delivered another discourse where the Buddha said, Dhamman chare sucharitang, nanang ducharitang chare, engage in the Dhamma. Nanang ducharitang chare, never engage in adhamma, unrighteously. Do not live unrighteously, live righteously. Live righteously. The one who is engaged in the Dhamma will live happily, peacefully here and hereafter. That is the teaching. On hearing this, the king became a once returner, Sakadagami. Friends, during this visit of the Buddha, King Suddhodana, the Queen Mahapajapati, then Yasodhara, Rahula, Nanda, Bhagu, Kimbila, and all these relatives, Buddha's relatives, they all became the followers of the Buddha. So that is why it is a historical journey, historical visit. That is very important. During this time, during this visit, the Buddha said, Dhamman chare sucharitam. Sucharita. Sucharita and duscharita means good practice and bad practice. Simple. We never want to practice unwholesome things. We want to practice wholesomeness. We should not do unwholesome activities. We act in three modes: verbally, physically and mentally. Our action should be good, should be wholesome. One's action decides how he is, whether he is a noble one or ignoble one. He is the higher class person or the lower caste person. It's to one's action. Therefore, the Buddha said, practice, engage in wholesome activities. Do good to your body, word and deed, word and mind, mentally, verbally and physically. In such a way, we have to live happily, peacefully in this society. So what is the Dhamma? The Buddha said, Dhamman chare. Sucharate is action. What is Dhamman chare? Dhamma means the Dhamma of the Buddha. The Buddha's Dhamma is nothing but nature, nothing but what is happening in the world all over. Buddha's central teaching is the Four Noble Truths based on dissatisfaction, unsatisfactoriness, dukkha. When we talk about dukkha, some people think that we are pessimistic. We are not talking only the dukkha, not only unsatisfactoriness. We talk about unsatisfactoriness, the cause of unsatisfactoriness, the cessation of unsatisfactoriness, and the path leading to the cessation of unsatisfactoriness. The Four Noble Truths mean that. Truth is one. Truth is one in the world. But why then there are four? Four truths? No, not four truths. Buddha taught us one truth, but there are four facets of truth, four sides of truth. Unsatisfactoriness, the cause of unsatisfactoriness, the cessation of unsatisfactoriness, and the path leading to the cessation of unsatisfactoriness. That is how we have to understand the Four Noble Truths. The Buddha, while living on the top of the mountain called Vulture Peak, there's a place called Vulture Peak. There were vultures, that place. Even today, when the people visit India, they visit the top of the mountain. While the Buddha was there, one day Buddha suggested Venerable Ananda, the attendant monk, to go to another place called Ambalattika. So they both, together with other monks, they went to that place, and from there the Buddha visited Nalanda. That was the native place of Venerable Sariputta. From Nalanda to Patna. From Patna, crossing the river Ganges, the Buddha went to another place called Kotigama. At all these places, the Buddha taught the significance, the importance of practicing, developing virtue, serenity and insight. These are the three things to be practiced by all of us. Virtue, without sila, virtue means sila. Without Sila, we cannot practice meditation. Our Sila should be pristine, pure Sila. Only then we can practice better. We can practice serenity. Then we can move, we can go to the next step, which is wisdom, insight, vipassana. That is the way to practice. So the Buddha emphasized the need of practicing, developing virtue, serenity and insight. The Buddha said, when you practice, develop virtue, sila, it helps to develop samadhi, concentration, serenity. When you practice, develop serenity, concentration, it helps you to develop your wisdom. If you have wisdom, it develops. If you have a properly developed wisdom, then you can see true. You can cut off your taints. Taints means subtle forms of defilements, which are to be gone at last. They are the things, they are the defilements to be cut off at the very end. Once you totally cut off these taints, you can become a taintless person. The taintless one is called the Arahant, the enlightened one. So friends, in this manner the Buddha taught the Dhamma. When the Buddha visited this place called Kotigama, now Buddha is going towards Kusinara for the final attainment of Nibbana, for the Parinirvana, for his last breath. Buddha decided where it should be done. Then Buddha, day by day, from place to place, the Buddha went towards Kusinara. On his way, Buddha stopped this place called Kotigama, where he delivered the discourse and said, monks, it is because of not understanding, not penetrating this Four Noble Truths, you and me, you and me were wandering in this samsara for a long time. Then the Buddha taught them the way to understand these Four Noble Truths. One who understands these Four Noble Truths come to the first step of the Noble Eightfold Path. That is right understanding. That is called noble right understanding. Such a one is the stream enterer. Buddha went from there to a place called Nadika, where the people came to see the Buddha and they wanted to ask about their departed ones. The people came to the Buddha and they asked Bhante, they told Venerable Ananda to ask the Buddha where their departed ones were reborn. Reborn. They wanted to know. That's true. Even we like to know what happened to our mom, our dad who passed away. If we get a chance, then we go and ask where they are now. Like that, when the Buddha visited this place, many people came to the Buddha and asked where they were born. The Buddha taught them. Buddha told them that what happened to them. Some of them attained enlightenment. Buddha said after their death, no more. Because they have finished their samsaric journey. Then there were some non-returners, some once-returners, some stream enterers. Some were born in hell. Some were born in human realm, and some were born in heavens. Some were born in Brahma world. Like that, Buddha taught them these stories. But it is quite difficult for Buddha to teach in this manner, just to tell them where they were born. So the Buddha said to Ananda, Venerable Ananda, Ananda, this is a nuisance to me. This is a troublesome thing to me. It is not necessary to come and ask again and again what happened to their departed ones. Therefore, the Buddha suggested that I would give you a simile of the mirror of Dhamma. Mirror of Dhamma. What is the mirror of Dhamma? That is called Dhamma Adasa. Mirror. If suppose you have a mirror, then you can see your own self. You can see yourself. Therefore, Buddha said, I will give you a mirror. Mirror of Dhamma. What is the mirror of Dhamma? If you get a chance, get a mirror, you see yourself. If you get the Dhamma mirror, you can understand what would happen to you. Then you don't want to ask, so what is that Dhamma mirror? Become a stream enterer. If you become a stream enterer, you can see your own, you can understand your own, what would happen to you. In order to attain that stage, stream enterer, to become a stream enterer, the Buddha said, you have to have 4 qualities. What are the 4 qualities? You should have unwavering confidence in the Buddha. Unwavering confidence. Not wavering. Not this way, that way. Steady. So, unwavering confidence in the Buddha. It is confidence. Means you have to trust the Buddha. We have to trust the Buddha. We have no faith in the Buddha. Faith is not the right word. We trust the Buddha. We trust the Buddha's enlightenment. That is how the Buddhists do. We trust the Dhamma, unwavering confidence in the Dhamma. That is the second quality. Third quality, unwavering confidence in the Sangha. Then Sila, Arya Kanta Sila. The Arya means noble Sila, noble virtue which is dear to the noble ones. These are the 4 qualities to be developed for the attainment of the path as a stream enterer. So friends, in this manner, the Buddha taught us the main things in the sasana. One has to enter the path as a stream enterer. Only then one becomes a noble one. Then he can start the journey, start the path. He is enterer in the path. We are not yet entered the path. Once we enter the path, we are noble ones. We can follow the noble eightfold path and noble tenfold path and come to the attainment of enlightenment with the completion of tenfold path. So the Buddha one day asked Venerable Ananda to summon all the monks in the city. All the monks were summoned, and then the Buddha went to the hall. Addressing the monks, the Buddha said, monks, the Dhamma that I realized and revealed should be thoroughly learned by you, practiced by you for the benefit and happiness of many, for the benefit and happiness of gods and humans. In this manner, the Buddha taught us the Dhamma he taught, Dhamma he realized and revealed. The whole Dhamma of the Buddha. You see, today we have a lot of things, volumes of things to read. But Buddha gave the Dhamma, what he taught. Where the Buddha said, these are the Dhamma taught by, realized and revealed by me. What are the Dhamma? The Four Noble Truths. Four establishments of mindfulness. 4 roads to power. 4 right efforts. 5 mental faculties. 5 mental powers. 7 factors of enlightenment and the Noble Eightfold Path. These are the Dhamma taught by the Buddha. There are 37 factors. These are called 37 factors of enlightenment. Friends, these 37 factors can be condensed into 3. What are the 3? 3 principles. The whole teaching of the Buddha can be condensed into 3 principles. These 3 principles should be there in all the schools, all sects of Buddhism. Whatever the Buddhist traditions. If they have these 3 principles, they are not following the Buddha. What are the 3? The 4 Noble Truths. It's a must. 4 Noble Truths. Second, the dependent origination. Third, the 3 characteristics of existence. These are the 3 principles of the teachings of the Buddha. Now, in order to understand those 37, or in order to understand these 3, we have to understand 1. Buddha said, practice 1. If you practice 1, you can develop 4. If you practice 4, develop 4, you can develop 7. Like that. That is how the Buddha said. So we have to practice one thing. What is that one thing? It is the nucleus of the triangle. If you keep the three principles as a triangle, on the very top is the Noble Eightfold Path. Then the dependent origination, and then the 3 characteristics of existence. The nucleus of the triangle is the mindfulness. It is the mindfulness. Sati. If you develop sati, mindfulness, you can understand all this Dhamma and you can realize all this Dhamma. So mindfulness is the key. Mindfulness is the key in the teaching of the Buddha. That is the meaning. Mindfulness means awareness, earnestness, alertness, attention. Different terms, you have to use different terms to explain that little word. Buddha used sati. Only 4 letters. S-A-T-I, sati, Buddha said. But in English or in Sinhalese, we have to use many different terms to give the meaning of that particular term. Sati. Sati is twofold. Mindfulness. Mindfulness in the present moment and mindfulness of memory. Mindfulness of memory. True mindfulness of memory you cannot attain enlightenment. That is memory. Memory you lose. But mindfulness in the present moment is the important thing. If we develop mindfulness in the present moment, then we can see through. We can understand the Dhamma. We can apply this mindfulness to our six senses whenever the five aggregates arise there. We can understand their arising nature and their passing nature, arising, perishing nature. In order to understand that, we have to develop our mindfulness. That is the teaching, basic teaching. Buddha delivered a discourse named Sangati Kanna Sutta. Sangati is this robe. This is called Sangati, outer robe. Suppose a person is holding this robe behind the Buddha's robe he is holding the Buddha's robe behind to show that he is so closer to the Buddha. He is keeping his foot as the Buddha does. He is following the Buddha right behind the Buddha, holding the Buddha's robe, just to show that he is so close to the Buddha. The Buddha said, if the person is full of greed, hatred and delusion, if he has full of defilements, he is far away from me. Buddha said, he is far away from me, though he is taking hold of the robe. But the person who has free from greed, hatred and delusion, who has cut off defilements, he is, though living far distance, he is very closer to me. This is Dhamma. That's how we have to practice Dhamma. To come closer to the Buddha, we have to practice the Dhamma. Venerable Vakkali became sick. He was gravely ill. He asked a monk to go to the Buddha and invite the Buddha to come to his place. He cannot go, so he asked that monk, to go and invite the Buddha to come to that place. Then the Buddha visited that place. The Buddha asked Vakkali, what's wrong? He was crying. He was saying that he had unbearable feeling. So what's wrong? The Buddha asked. Then he said what he wanted was to see the Buddha. His ailment is that he wanted to see the Buddha. As he could not see the Buddha for a long time, he said, since I couldn't see the Buddha for a long time, I wanted to see the Buddha. Then the Buddha said, Vakkali, kinte Vakkali imina puti kayena dittena. Vakkali, what is the use of seeing this filthy body? This filthy body. What is the use of seeing this filthy body? It means Buddha's body is the filthy body. Buddha is his mind, not the body. Buddha's body is not the Buddha. It's a filthy body. So what is the use of, what is the meaning of seeing this body? The Buddha said, Vakkali yo dhammam passati so mam passati. Vakkali, if one sees the Dhamma, sees me. Therefore, the Buddha's advice was to see the Dhamma. If you see the Dhamma, you can see me. Another question. The Buddha said, make this Dhamma your own island. Suppose the whole world is inundated, flooded world. Actually, the world is a flood of defilements. When there is flood, if there is an island, you can go to that. The Buddha said, make your own island. Your own island. What is your island? Dhamma is the island. That is the safest place. If you have Dhamma, you are safe. Wherever you live in the world. If you are practicing the Dhamma, it doesn't matter whatever happened to you. Things happen. We simply face the nature. We can face bravely, peacefully, light-heartedly. We can live. Wherever we go, we can live light-heartedly. If we know the Dhamma and if we practice the Dhamma. Know and see. These are two things. Knowledge, we can gain knowledge. We can understand many things. We can read many books. We can listen to talks, many different talks, and then we can acquire, we can collect knowledge. That knowledge is one thing, wisdom is another. The Buddha's teaching is to gain wisdom. Wisdom arises, knowledge acquiring. We acquire knowledge, we collect knowledge. Wisdom arises within us. When the mind is calm and quiet, wisdom arises. That is the difference. Wisdom means insight. If our mind is calm, if we are quiet, then we can understand things as they really are. That is the teaching of the Buddha. So the Buddha taught us this Dhamma. Once the Buddha said, they go to many a refuge when they have been struck by fear. When the people are struck by fear, they go to many a refuge. They go to mountains, parks, trees, and different shrines. Why? Fear. Because of fear. But the Buddha said, these are not the real refuge, not the secure refuge, but one who goes to the Buddha for refuge, Dhamma for refuge, Sangha for refuge, and see the Four Noble Truths with properly developed wisdom. That is the real refuge. That is the refuge supreme, the Buddha said. This is why, friends, we have to practice the Dhamma, understand the Dhamma and practice the Dhamma. Buddha did not teach the Dhamma for fun. He did not want to teach for the sake of giving lectures to show that he was a good talker, good speaker. He was a good speaker, it's true, though Buddha had some purposes. Whenever the Buddha taught the Dhamma, the people came to different levels, mental levels. People became stream enterers, once-returners, non-returners, and the enlightened ones. When they attain enlightenment, the enlightened ones have told us the purposes of the Buddha's teaching, why the Buddha teach the Dhamma. According to Chula Satchaka Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, the middle-length teachings of the Buddha, the monks, the enlightened one said, why the Buddha teach this Dhamma? Buddhoso Bhagava Bodhaya Dhamman Deseti. The Buddha, the Blessed One, having attained enlightenment, he teaches the Dhamma for the attainment of enlightenment. That is the purpose. Buddha became the Buddha first. And then Buddha taught the Dhamma to become enlightened ones. Then, having attained Dantoso Bhagava Dhammataya Dhamman Deseti, having come to the state of tamed, he teaches the Dhamma to become tamed ones. Dantoso Bhagava Dhammataya Dhamman Deseti. Santoso Bhagava Samataya Dhamman Deseti. Having attained the state of perfect peace, Buddha taught the Dhamma to come to the state of perfect peace. Santoso Bhagava Samataya Dhamman Deseti. Tinnoso Bhagava Taranaya Dhamman Deseti. Having crossed the sansaric flood, the Buddha taught the Dhamma to cross the sansaric flood. Parinibbhutoso Bhagava Parinibbanaya Dhamman Deseti. Having completely extinguished defilements, the fire of defilements, Buddha taught the Dhamma to extinguish all fire of defilements. Parinibbhuta. Pari means all over, all around. All over means, all around means, we have 6 senses. In all this, there is fire. Fire of greed, hatred and delusion. The fire in the eye should be extinguished in the eye. Fire in the ear should be extinguished in the ear. Fire of nose should be extinguished in the nose. Fire of tongue should be extinguished in the tongue. Fire of body should be extinguished in the body. And the fire of mind should be extinguished in the mind. Fire should be extinguished. That is what is called parinibbana. Buddha extinguished totally all this fire. And in such a way, the Buddha became the Buddha of our era. Friends, towards the end of his life, he gave those 5 short admonitions. Our topic today. 5 short Admonitions of the Buddha. Addressed the monks. Addressing the monks, the Buddha said, "Monks, now I have come to the end of my life. Paripakko vayo maihang. Parittang mama jivitang. My life has come to the end. Pahaya vo gamissami. Now it is the time for me to leave behind you all and go. Katang me saranamattano. I went to my own refuge." Buddha's advice for us is not to go to the refuge of this, that, but to go your own refuge. Be your own island. Make your own island. Go to the Dhamma for refuge. Not a person. Not a person. But Dhamma. Therefore, Buddha said 5 advices. Appamatta. First one. Appamatta. Speed up. Buddha said, Appamatta. Speed up. Hurry up. Don't waste your time. Because we are living only short time. Therefore, Buddha said, haste. Hurry up. Speed up. First thing. Sati manto. Second one. Sati manto. Be mindful. Not in the past, not in the future, right now. In the present moment. Be mindful. Be aware of what is going on here within you. Not about what is happening around, happening other places, at the end of the world, but within you. Sati manto. Appamatta. First one is speed up. Hurry up to practice. Hurry up to practice Dhamma. Second, be mindful. Third, be virtuous. Susila hotha. Be virtuous. Then, susamahita sankappo. Keep good thoughts. Proper thoughts. Proper concepts. Susamahita sankappa. Finally said, guard your mind. Those are the 5. Again, speed up. Hurry up. Practice. To practice, do not waste your time. Practice. That's the first thing. Second, be mindful. Third, be virtuous. 4, keep proper thoughts, good thoughts. 5th, guard your mind. Guard your mind is the most important thing. If we guard our mind, if we tamed our mind, if we develop our mind, if we control our mind, it brings happiness. Chittang guttang sukhavahang. Chittang guttang sukhavahang. Guarded mind brings happiness. Friends, this is how the Buddha taught this Dhamma. In order to guard this mind, we have to practice. We have to practice 3 things. All the time we have to practice only 3 things. If we are practicing these 3, we are on the path. What are the 3? Sila, Samadhi and Panya. Virtue, serenity and insight. In order to practice this, in the Dhammapada, the Buddha said, Kumbupamang kaya mimang viditva nagarupamang chitta midang tapetva yodeta marang panyayudena jitancha rakhe anivesanosya. It's a stanza from the Dhammapada, verses of Dhamma. Kumbupamang kaya mimang viditva. How to practice meditation? Keep the body as a fragile pot. Keep your body as a pot. This is how to meditate. Keep the body as a pot. If you do in this way, that way, then the pot will break soon. Therefore, when you practice meditation, you have to keep the body straight, erect, upright body. Kumbupamang kaya mimang viditva. Then nagarupamang chitta midang tapetva. Keep your mind as a fortified city, very well protected city. Keep the mind, steady mind, calm mind, fortified, protected, guarded mind. Nagarupamang chitta midang tapitva. Then yodeta marang panyayudena. Use the weapon. What is the weapon? Wisdom. Use the weapon of wisdom and strike, hit the mara. Hit the mara with the weapon of wisdom. What is mara? Defilement, greed, hatred and delusion, discursive thoughts. There are three types of discursive thoughts. Discursive thoughts of sensuality, discursive thoughts of ill will, and discursive thoughts of cruelty. These are the thoughts arise in us. All the time they are arising and perishing. Whenever they arise, what happens? Normally what happens? Because of our ignorance, we cling to these things. But if we are mindful, if we have proper wisdom, if we have mindfulness, then we do not grasp them, we do not cling to them. Instead, we can see them as they are arising and then we let them go. That is what is meditation. We have to practice meditation, practice the Dhamma to understand our own senses, 6 senses. The eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and the mind. All the time we have to be mindful of these 6 senses. Then we can understand whenever the thoughts arise. We can understand them as they are arising and then we can let them go. We do not grasp them. We do not welcome them. Instead, we let them go. Let them go is practicing. We cut off these things. Then we do not harbor them. We do not allow them to come and stay with underneath of the mind as defilement, as attachment, as thoughts, volitional formations, sankhara or karma. We do not keep this underneath. If we keep this underneath as result, as causes, when there are causes, there should be results. If we leave behind them as causes, then the results will be in the next birth. That means we will be born in other realms. There are 31 realms. We will be born in such realms. They are not ours. The realms are Mara's realms. If we are born in such realms, we will have to die again. The Buddha's teaching is not to die again. Buddha's teaching is to finish this sansaric journey here in this very world. Buddha said, in this very world. Ditteva dhamme. In this very world, we can practice and cut off all defilements and attain full enlightenment. Friends, this is how the Buddha has taught this Dhamma. Let's all understand this Dhamma. Let's read this Dhamma, understand this Dhamma, and practice this Dhamma to live happily, peacefully, and one day peacefully close our eyes. May we all attain that real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.